Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse Halloween Extravaganza. And today's film is pretty much of a lost film, and honestly, after viewing it again, I think it should have stayed lost. And that film, my friends, is something called The Blood Seekers from the Philippines. That was shot supposedly in 1961, but was released somewhere in 1971. Where, I don't know. And I was sort of racking my brains to where I saw this thing. And I honestly think it was a something weird videotape going back in the day. It has some kind of monster, for lack of better words. It looks like a fucking styrofoam head with all bumps on it with one eye. It actually stars Vic Diaz in an early role as a police detective, which she's not bad in. And actually Bruno Polenzan, who you would remember was in the Blood Island movies as the bald-headed henchman. He actually has a speaking role in this too. So for that, it's kind of interesting. For the rest, well, it seems that they're finding these dancers from a nightclub hanging from their feet with their wrists sliced open and all their blood drained. Plus, they've been stabbed. And Vic is the lieutenant that's on the case, and his sister's involved in this whole thing too. And there's this Caucasian woman dancing at this nightclub called the Barrio, and the owner of the Barrio is a little bit suspicious. So they bring in this cop from New York. I don't even know the actor's name, and all I know is he's friggin' horrible, and he sort of gropes on these chicks and gets slapped around and stuff. So there's this weird ass thing where basically another girl disappears from the club, and you get to see it this time, where she's basically tied to a table with her wrist held out. She's stabbed to death. Her wrists are slit, and this bowl is put underneath her to catch the blood, and then the bowl is shifted over to, guess who? The Caucasian blonde woman, who is some kind of, I don't know what the hell she is. They never completely say what she is, but she's, one of the sun people, I think they say it is, or the sun gods, and this keeps her and the guy with the lumpy head going. And we get to see her sort of get, like, I don't know, absorb the blood or whatever. I mean, they sort of do a little twinge where they tone this in sepia. So then you see the woman back at the bar with the detective who was masquerading as a writer. I mean, this gets worse and worse. And she tells him after she gives him a drink that there's something in the drink that she's immune to, and it's in every bottle in the bar. And of course he passes out, is tied to a tree. And he's rescued by somebody who was supposedly a bad guy in the earlier part of the film, but then gets run down and killed by the chick in the car. And of course, Vic's sister gets captured by this, thing and taken to, the basement to have her blood drained. And Vic shows up and, they're kicking down the door and shit. And then this creature attacks them, which is pretty strong and basically pushes them away. But it just gets weirder and weirder. Somehow they escape, and they free the sister, and the blonde woman is sitting there, and then she turns into an old Filipino woman, and then she disappears. And then the lumpy-headed creature sort of loses his lumpy head, and it's actually the owner of the nightclub. So if any of this makes sense to you, please email me and tell me what the fuck I just watched, because honestly, I sat here for you guys and sat through 90 minutes of this shit, and I still don't know what the fuck I watched. So maybe it ain't worth seeking out The Blood Seekers. I think it's only available on DVD, might be on Tubi, I don't know. But, for nostalgia's sake, it's pretty interesting seeing a young Vic Diaz sort of, take over the screen and actually seeing Bruno talk. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have more for you tomorrow, so we'll catch you on the flip side. Until then, stay safe.